In today's episode, Sam goes out to see a beehive, watches a cat get killed, cuts off all his hair and swears that in future he'll only wear periwigs. Hello and welcome. Are you sitting comfortably? Good, then we'll begin. I'm Tom Barclay-Matchett, the London Storyteller. I share the stories of the people, places and personalities that have made this the finest city on earth. I'm currently sharing the Diary of Samuel Pepys from the year 1665. Now, please do settle in and we'll begin. May 1st, 1665. Up unto Mr. Pepys, and by his bedside talked a good while. Thence to the Duke of Albemarle, where I sorry to find myself to come a little late. And so home, and at noon, going to the Change, met my Lord Brunkard, Sir Robert Murray, Dean Wilkins, and Mr. Hook, going by coach to Colonel Blunt's to dinner. So they stopped and took me with them, landed at the Tower Wharf, and thence by water to Greenwich, and there coaches met us, and to his house, a very stately seat for his situation, and brave plantations, and among others a vineyard. No extraordinary dinner, nor any other experiment good, but only after dinner to the trial of some experiments about making of coaches easy. And several we tried, but one did prove mighty easy, not here for me to describe, but the whole body of that coach lies upon one long spring, and we all, one after another, rid in it, and it is very fine and likely to take. These experiments were the intent of their coming, and pretty they are. Thence, back by coach to Greenwich, and in his pleasure boat to Deptford, and there stopped, and in to see Mr. Eveling's, which is a most beautiful place, but it being dark and late, I stayed not. But Dean Wilkins and Mr. Hook and I walked to Redriff, and noble discourse all day long did please me. And it being late, did take them to my house to drink, and did give them some sweetmeats, and thence sent them with a lanthorn home, two worthy persons as are in England, I think, or the world. So to my Lady Batten, where my wife is tonight, and so after some merry talk, home to bed. The 3rd of May, 1665. Up betimes, and walked to Sir Philip Warwick's, where a long time with him in his chamber alone, talking of Sir George Carteret's business, and the abuses he puts on the nation by his bad payments. To both our vexations, but no hope of remedy for aught I see. So to the Change, and thence home to dinner, and so out to Gresham College, and saw a cat killed with the Duke of Florence's poison, and saw it proved that the oil of tobacco drawn by one of the society doth the same effect, and is judged to be the same thing with the poison, both in colour and smell and effect. I saw also an abortive child preserved in the spirit of salt. Thence parted into Whitehall to the council chamber, and about an order touching the navy, our being empowered to commit seamen and masters to do not, being hired or pressed, follow their work, but they could give us none. So a little vexed at that, because I put in the memorial to the Duke of Albemarle alone, under my own hand, home, and after some time at the office, home to bed. The 5th of April, 1665. Up betimes, and by water to Westminster, there to speak the first time with Sir Robert Long, to give him my privy seal and my Lord Treasurer's order for Tangier's tally. He received me kindly enough, then home by water, and presently down to Woolwich, and back to Blackwall, and there viewed the breach in order to Mast Dock, and so to Deptford to the Globe, where my Lord Brunkard, Sir John Menes, and Sir William Batten, and Commissioner Pett were at dinner, having been at the breach also, but they find it will be of too great charge to make use of it. After dinner, to Mr. Eveling's, he being abroad, we walked in the garden, and a lovely noble ground he hath indeed, and among other rarities a hive of bees. So, as being hived in glass, you may see the bees making their honey, and Coombs was mighty pleasantly. Thence home, and I by and by to Mr. Pepys to see him, who is yet in his chamber, not well. And thence by his advice to one Lovitz, a varnisher, to see his manner of new varnish, but found him not at home, but his wife, a very beautiful woman, who showed me much variety of admirable work, and is in order to my having of some papers fitted with lines for my use for tables and the like. I know not whether I was more pleased with the thing, or that I was showed it by her. But resolved I am to have some made, so home to my office late, and then to supper and to bed. My wife tells me that she hears that my poor Aunt James hath had her breast cut off here in town, her breast having long been out of order. This day, after I suffered my own hair to grow long in order to wearing it, I find the convenience of periwigs so great that I have cut off all short again, and will keep to periwigs. 7th of May, Lord's Day. Up and to church with my wife, home and dined. After dinner came Mr. Andrews and spent the afternoon with me about Tangier business of victuals, and then parted. And after sermon comes Mr. Hill and a gentleman, a friend of his, one Mr. Scott, that sings well also, and then comes Mr. Andrews, and we all sung and supped, and then to sing again, and passed the Sunday very pleasantly and soberly. And so I to my office a little, and then home to prayers and to bed. Yesterday begun my wife to learn the limb of one Brown, which Mr. Hill helps her to, and by her beginning upon some eyes, I think she will do very fine things, and I shall take great delight in it. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Please don't forget to add your comments, like and subscribe. Cheerio!